Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Bryant, and I got a special guest with us today. I got Gabe. How you doing, bro?
Good, bro. Good.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for showing love and coming up here. So let's bring it back. You know, where you from? Tell the viewers where you from.
Originally I'm from Memphis. Originally I'm from Memphis. I grew up in St. Pete, Florida. Now I reside here.
When did you move to St. Pete?
I moved to St. Pete back when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Florida boy originally.
Yeah. What part of Florida you said?
St. Pete.
St. Pete. Okay.
St. Pete.
So how was St. Pete growing up? Yeah.
I mean, St. Pete was cool. Typical. I grew up in the hood. I had a good upbringing I have both parents. Played a lot of sports growing up. So
You're the only child?
I am the only child in my household. I got a brother and a sister. They both grew up in Detroit though.
Okay, so within your household. So okay, you got that, the only child lifestyle growing up.
Yeah.
I'm the only child as well, so we a little different, I feel like. So did you have a lot of like friends or cousins or friends growing up? Were you isolated?
I would say I was pretty isolated. Just me, my mom, my dad, here in Florida. Everybody else was either in Memphis or Detroit.
Okay, so did your mom have you do like different things? Because with my mom, she had me like do different things than the average parent, I believe, right? Me being the only child, she was very disciplined. So was your mom the same way?
I would say it was pretty. They wasn't super disciplined. I mean, they wasn't super strict. I would say they was definitely disciplined. Like I would get those whoopings. Grades not right. They gonna put that belt on me. But as far as strict, they kind of let me find my way pretty early. Gave me a little leeway, and I think it worked in a positive way. It helped me mature quicker. Way quicker than my age.
What is one way that they did, or what did they do to make you feel like that, like you matured quicker?
All right. For example, my parents they wouldn't trip on me about a bedtime. Like I didn't have like a strict bedtime at 9 p.m. or anything. It was like, whenever I fall asleep, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But like when I was a little bit older as a teenager, I could do things like go out and come home late. I come home 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in high school. As long as I'm, my head on straight, I'm taking care of everything I need to take care of. I'm not getting in trouble. They was pretty flexible.
Do you think that's a good thing or like a bad thing?
I think it was a good thing for me. It helped me. Like I was going out to the club 16 years old, so I was able to experience that. And when I get to college, or when I get to the age where people just starting to experience that, and they think, wow, like I'm already 5 years in, already 4 years in. Well, it's nothing to me. I'm not even. I don't really want to party no more. I'm already partied out.
Exactly.
I think it was a positive in my situation.
Okay, so like in high school, you had any jobs?
Yes. Yeah. I worked at Checkers. Checkers was my first job.
Checkers. Okay.
Yeah, Checkers was my first job. I actually worked there underage. I lied. I lied and said I was 16, I believe, and I was only 15. I didn't catch it. I was grinding to make that money.
Did you do anything like on the side throughout these times, like any side hustles?
Well, one little side hustle I did as a little kid that I can remember is I made boiled peanuts. I would make boiled peanuts, and I had like a little. My mom had a bicycle with one of those little baskets on the front of it.
Okay.
So I would make boiled peanuts and like put a whole bunch of them in the basket, and I was knocking on doors asking if they wanted to buy peanuts.
That's
I was
wild.
like 10 years old.
How much you was charging for them?
I can't remember, man. It wasn't nothing crazy. Probably like maybe like $2 or something.
Oh, okay.
And I was only like 10 years old, so.
What gave you that idea to do that?
Honestly, I don't know. I just wanted to make money, and I was just trying to think of ways to make money as a 10-year-old, and that was just the idea I kind of came up with. I told my parents, and they supported me.
That's lit. That's lit. So now college. I know you play ball. So and I see you when you post when you go back to your school. You be posting like they have a big picture of you blown up in the school D1. So like talk about that experience. Did you work hard? Like were you grinding in the gym? Like talk about that.
Of course, man, since I was young, since a little kid, 6, 7, my dad used to have me training, outside of practice, we used to go to this little park called Auburn Park. Play on the outside courts. You training me on my left hand, and it was nonstop. It was just a lifestyle at that age, all the way until I got to high school. Just consistently grinding, and it paid off. I went D1, went to play at Boston College on a full ride scholarship.
Damn, that's
And,
lit.
yeah.
So did you win any championships throughout these years? Like, in college, did you guys win anything?
So in college, at Boston College, we didn't win. We didn't win the national championship.
Yeah.
And my freshman year, we was pretty good. We ended up being on the bubble to make the tournament. We didn't make the tournament though, and we ended up being #1 seed in I think it's called the NIT.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we played in that. But
Do you think like within the sports, because you know how they say like sports and entrepreneurship, they go hand in hand, right? So what can you tell the people like how sports correlates with your business and being an entrepreneur? Like how does that transfer over for you?
right, so I think anybody who an athlete, especially a D1 athlete, it translates perfectly. Like you have all the skill sets you need to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner. As far as hard work, as far as dedication, perseverance. A lot of athletes, they go through stuff. They go through hard times. They go through, coach might not be playing them. They gotta figure out a way. Like it's the same thing in business.
Do you have like a story of a time when you had to go through adversity within playing basketball?
For sure. At Boston College, my freshman year, I can remember like, I'm sure it's a lot of D1 players that go through this, being the best on their team, always being the best on their teams. And then when you get to that high caliber D1 level, like everybody was the best on their team, right? So, for me, my freshman year, I played with Reggie Jackson. He played with who he played with now, the Nuggets. So he was a starting point guard.
Bobby Schmurda, Reggie Jackson?
Yeah, Bobby Jackson.
That boy a bucket. He a bucket. Y'all was teammates?
He was a bucket in college. Yeah, he was my teammate. I was a freshman. Frail. He was a junior.
Wow.
He was a starting point guard. So,
So you competing?
oh yeah, competing for sure. I don't care who he is. I'm still gonna compete. So, like my freshman year, I can remember we had season had just started, and we had a tournament. Is it an Easter tournament? We had a tournament in Orlando. So it was like local. I had all my family come out. I had all my coaches, had everybody come out, and it was a pretty big tournament. But it was the beginning of the season, and I didn't play much. I didn't play until like the end of the game. So probably like the last 30 seconds, a minute of the game, and all my people. After the game, I think we was playing Texas A&M. After the game, I went into the locker room and I just started like crying. Like I was in my locker room, just head down crying. Everybody celebrating because we won, but I was pissed.
Yeah.
And it was just the feeling of like I haven't felt like I just disappointed everybody. When in reality that wasn't really the truth. But that was just a moment I can recall. And like after that moment in practice, just busting my ass trying to get on that court, going at Reggie and going just every day in practice, just going hard.
Nah, that's dope because I love that, right? Like, you bring your people out. They coming to see you. They not coming to see your team. They coming to see you. And most people, they'll probably just feel comfortable, winning, right? And ain't nothing wrong with you feeling like that, even though y'all won. But the fact that you felt that, and it was like, nah, I got to get on the court now. Now I got to grind. That's what, like, I feel like what we need to close these deals, wholesale, right? So now, college is over, right? What happened after college? What was your next move after college?
So after college, I went to play overseas. I went to play professional basketball overseas. First went to Mongolia. I played a season there. Then I played a season in Lithuania. Then I played a little stint in Iraq, China, Mexico. And then, I had kids. I had kids in that little stint. So I was already, throughout college, I was already like an entrepreneur. And, I was already kind of dabbling in that world. So even overseas, I was still dabbling in the entrepreneur world. And I just wanted to I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to get a lot of money.
Is there like something that inspired you in terms of like, did you see somebody killing in the game, or like what inspired you to be that entrepreneur?
Honestly, I just always wanted to be a boss. I can remember a time when on my on my college visit to Boston College, me and my family was there, and we walking around with the coaches, and they like, so what you want to be, like what you want to major in, and I didn't know at the time. I was just like, hey, I want to be a CEO. I want to be a boss. And I ain't know, like, that don't correlate with I don't really correlate with any, like, major. Like, you can't go to school to be a boss. Like, it was like, okay, maybe you can major in economics. Like, that'll probably be the closest thing to make you a CEO. So I ended up majoring in economics, but just recalling that, like, how like, I didn't know how it really worked.
Yeah.
I just know I wanted to be a CEO. I wanted to be the boss. I didn't know how that translated through school though.
That's a fact. In school, they're not, training us to be CEOs and bosses. They're training us to, work for the CEO. Right. So now, you're overseas, right? Cause you're a realtor. Is that how you started getting into real estate, or how'd you start getting into real estate?
Just 1 year on my off season, being back from overseas. Know that someday I was gonna have to transition into the real world. I just literally took a course, 7-day expedited realtor course, and got my license. So
you passed the test on the first try?
Yep, passed the test the first try. I didn't really put it to use though that whole first year, because I went back overseas, still kind of going back and forth with overseas. So yeah, that's how I got into real estate, but it was really just getting something under my belt. So when that transition do happen, like I'll have it.
Okay. Yeah. So that first year you didn't, like you said, you wasn't like putting it to use. Like what was you doing around that time?
I was still playing overseas.
Oh, okay.
Still going back and forth like overseas. Still kind of on the fence if I want to keep playing, if I don't. That's kind of where I was at for that full year.
So what happened after that year?
That's when I had my kids.
Okay.
That's when I had my kids, and I was already on the fence. So it was like, that kind of solidified it. At the same time, also I was playing in this little local league in the off season, and I had injured my knee. I had like sprained like an MCL. I think it was my MCL. So, that kind of like all three of them things factoring in together, it was just like, okay, this time to really go full throttle into entrepreneurship. A lot of people don't know. They think playing overseas is all sweet and it's you get to do what you love to do and make money at it. It's like true, but that's a grind. Like that's a grind that you don't even know about. There's a business side to it as well. When you over there and you being away from your family for 9 months out of the year, nobody speaking the same language as you. You gotta adjust to the food. you practicing. It ain't like you just going and having vacation time. You don't have time off. You playing games and practicing and working out, playing games. So it's just, it's a grind. When you come home, you got to be disciplined. You got to still grind. Like, you can't just come home and chill, because you got to keep your body in shape, keep your skills up when you're going back to your next job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So now, is this when you get into wholesaling?
So, so let's see. So when I came back, when I got my kids, basically I was an entrepreneur. I was doing all type of stuff, man. I was
like what?
Bro, yeah, when I was overseas, man, I tried to come up with an invention, a automatic weed roller.
Okay.
And it was like a little device, like a little small little tube device that could literally, you can just put a wrapper in and put the weed in, and just roll it out. And just roll the weed, like roll the blunt.
You know, it's crazy. They got that now, like in stores.
Yeah.
Like they sell that now. So.
Right.
But
so I mean, that was one of my, invention I was trying to do. I tried to do, like, I was doing what's called MCA at one point. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No, I haven't.
It's kind of like a network marketing. You get somebody signed up, you make $80 for each person signed up. I was doing that in college. That was like my first entrepreneur experience of making money, like real money, doing something on my own, which kind of opened my eyes to everything.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just doing a lot of different things, just trying to hustle, and nothing was sticking. I was trying to do too many things. Nothing was really sticking to where I can make consistent money. And I had them kids on the way. I had my twins on the way, so it was like,
you got to figure something out.
I can't be up and down on a roller coaster like this with kids on the way. So I ended up getting a job. Right, I ended up getting a 9-to-5 job, selling windows, like door-to-door salesman.
Oof.
Selling windows. And
door-to-door. For the people that don't know what door-to-door is you literally going to people's doors, knocking on the doors, and having a conversation with them face-to-face. So how was that experience? I know that's brutal.
Man, it was brutal. It was definitely brutal. Being in Florida, it's hot, summer, and, I'm black, dreads, knocking on people's doors, like, that was already one hurdle to get over right there. But, truth be told, that was probably the best job I ever had.
Ooh, talk about it. Why?
It was the best job I ever had because it was like, they taught me sales. It taught me, like, a skill that I need in everything I do now in life. Just the salesman. If you can basically knock on a random stranger door and sell them windows and flip them from a no to a yes, like, you can do anything.
Right. What is 2 tips that you could, let people know that you learned from that experience? 2 sales tips.
2 sales tips. Let's see. One sales tip I can give is that, just because somebody say no don't mean they can't be converted to a yes. All right, it's a rebuttal. Most people gonna automatically give you a rebuttal, and you just gotta know how to overcome that objection, and turn them into a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would say most people, a no really doesn't mean no. A no means I don't know you yet. So until they know you, until you let them know how you could be a service to them, they really a yes. So that's what you guys got to do, in terms of wholesaling land, incorporating both of that. So now, you're doing the door-to-door. Is this now how you get into the wholesaling space?
So I was doing the door-to-door, and I was doing real good at it. It was a nice paying job, and I got a chance to save some money. I had my kids, but like I wasn't able to be home with them and enjoy, they at the house. I come home late from work and I'm tired. I I get to spend a little time with them, go to sleep, and repeat.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning, go back to work, and I'm like, man, I can't do this. Like after about 6 months, I told him, I said, man, I can't do it. I gotta stop doing this. So you know, he was understandable, cool. Mike, cool guy. We still cool to this day. My boss. But you know, I left there, and I really didn't know what I was gonna do. I still had a real estate license, but you know, when I left there, like I had probably 3 months worth of savings, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. So my girlfriend at the time, she had a friend who was having a graduation for a nursing degree, and you know, we attended it, and we were sitting at the table with another couple, and I got to chopping it up with the husband and Chris Bruce. It was Chris Bruce.
Okay.
So, you know, Chris was telling me about, you know, he in wholesaling, and you know, I had heard about it, but I hadn't really like did any research on it. So, you know, this was like the perfect time he bringing it up, and he telling me about wholesale. I'm like, okay, cool. So he was telling me he'd been doing it for 10 years. He got courses. So all right, cool. I'm gonna check it out. And literally that night, you know, I checked it out and bought his course. That's how I got into wholesaling, just like that.
So when you bought this course, because I tell like my students, when you get this course, that first 20 hours of buying the course is the most important, right? What you do within those first 20 hours is gonna let me know if you're gonna get a deal or not. So when you got that course, what you do?
I jumped head first. Same night, I'm in the course. Like next day, I'm in the course all day because I didn't have a job, you know, and like my back was against the wall. I had three months worth of savings, so I got to make something shake like ASAP. So, you know, I think the course was designed for 4 weeks. I knocked it out in maybe like 4 or 5 days, and got started. Like I started driving around neighborhoods right after I finished the course. Found a house that I thought was vacant, you know, taking the addresses down, and she was skilled trades and got to calling. Didn't know what I was really doing. You know, I really wasn't 100% sure, but I just took action and just learned along the way.
So is that how you got your first deal?
That's how I got my first deal.
How much was that?
First deal, man, it was $20,000.
Ooh.
$20,000. Like literally, from the day I started the course to closing that deal was like a month apart, and $20,000. I mean, that's gonna speak for itself. I hadn't experienced that much money, you know, at one time. So just like, this it. This is it. I found it. Like this is it.
Yeah. So now you like into wholesaling. So how did that year go?
So that year, it was definitely a learning year. You know, I got that $20,000 check, and it's like it pushes you to know that, you know, it gives you that boost. Like, okay, this works, and you go and you get that boost. So I ended up closing another deal. I want to say it was like 18,000 something like the next month. So now I'm really thinking like, oh yeah, this it. I'm about to be rolling.
Right.
And I actually got a little comfortable. You know, because I just thought I can do it like that.
Yeah.
But if money get down, I can just turn it right back on.
2 deals back to back, 2018.
Yeah. So I ended up getting comfortable, and like those next few months, you know, I was kind of chilling a little bit, and then when I tried to turn it back on, it ain't go like them first 2 deals. It was like, damn, I can't lock up another deal. It was probably like 2 or 3 months to lock up another deal. So I would say that whole year was kind of up and down. I never really found consistency.
Did it start picking up the second year, or what was the change within that second year?
So the change within the second year was getting into systems. You know, first year I was literally just doing everything myself, running around with my head chopped off, and you know, kind of got introduced to systems and trying to put those into place. But you know, even that whole second year of me trying to do that, it wasn't just sweet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Did you get a mentor at this time, or do you have a mentor at this time?
let's see, second year, I don't think I got an actual mentor. I was attending like
Mm.
events with like systems and things like that, masterminds, just networking with people. But I didn't actually get a mentor at that time.
Okay. Is this when you jump into wholesaling land at this time?
No, so I was wholesaling houses for about 3 years, and then um, I say like last year and a half, I jumped to land.
Okay. Are you, so when you was wholesaling houses, you was also using your realtor's license as well, right?
Right. So after my first year of wholesaling houses, that's when I started putting my real estate license in play.
Okay.
So it was like I had my license for 2 years before I even used it.
What was the difference between those two
Real estate.
and wholesaling in general?
So like being a real estate agent is more of like holding somebody's hand. Like you got two parties and you just the middleman just holding their hands. You're not really using a lot of skill set.
Mm.
And for me, it just I didn't really mesh well with it. It's like you might have to show somebody 10 houses or 20 houses, and they might still be like,
I don't want
never
it.
mind, I don't want to look no more. And you just wasted all that time. You didn't get paid for it. And it's like you might do the same thing, and they do want the house, and you might only make $4,000 to $5,000, and it's like when I was making checks with wholesaling houses, 20,000, 18,000. It's like it didn't compare. It didn't make sense. Like I could make this amount of money in a week or 2 weeks, and it take me a whole month and a whole bunch of hours of hard work to make only this amount of money on the agent side.
On the agent side.
Yeah.
So is this when you get into like land?
No. I did. I was a real estate agent for about probably like 2 good years, just doing both. Um, and then I got into land maybe like say a year and a half ago.
Okay, so did you do any like did you list any lots as a realtor? Did you come across any land as a realtor?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I never done anything with land on the realtor side.
Okay, so now in terms of land, how'd you get into land? Or what was your first introduction to that space?
So my first introduction to the land was, actually following you. Following you, I seen when you kind of transitioned to land, and you was, you started getting a lot of deals. You was
Yeah.
posting every day, like getting the deal. So I'm like, damn, okay, you like doing this thing over there with the land. I see you doing this thing with the land. So it's just like, when I seen that, I just basically kind of looked into it more, and it was just really just a tweak into my marketing at that point. I was doing the houses, had my team, so I just started pulling land lists and testing it out.
Okay, so like that first deal, how did that come about? So now you seeing me, right? You seeing me because at that time, this was probably 2021.
Yeah.
Right when I started, it was literally back to back to back to back, and it's still like that now. But at that time, I was doing houses first,
Yeah.
so that transition to land, I was closing one house deal a month. But when it came to land, it was multiple. So with you doing land, that first deal, like, did you pull the marketing? Like, how'd you get that first one?
The first deal just pulled a list. I just pulled a list, and like I said, I already had a team in place. So by me just pulling a list and throwing it into what we already doing, they just basically doing the same thing. It's just now we're just doing it with land. And I did have a little learning curve. Had to learn the lingo for land and what qualifying questions is. But once we did that, like
Did you reach out to the builders first or the sellers?
the sellers.
Okay.
Yeah, I started out with the sellers first. Just getting people under contract, and
How'd you know it was a deal?
running numbers. I was running numbers, and I just YouTube University trying to see how people was like coming up with, because coming from the houses, they use formulas, ARV and all this. So I'm like, I'm trying to do the same thing with the land.
Mm-hmm.
And I did come across somebody who, had a nice little formula for land. That's what I was using. But then I realized like you don't even got to use that, as we got more seasoned into land.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's kind of how I came up with my first numbers initially.
So that first deal, how much did you make that first deal?
It's funny. So the first deals that I was doing, because I was in Nashville doing houses. I was doing Nashville. Nashville was one of my markets, and we put a Nashville list for land, and we was locking them up like big deals, 30,000 type deals, 8,000, 20,000. Like I'm like, oh yeah, this it. Like this the land. It was consistent. I'm like, okay, and then we'll run into it wasn't buildable. It wasn't buildable, and it's like all my deals in the beginning with land was just they wasn't buildable, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like I'm just counting up money, and it just wasn't buildable. So, I think it took probably like a month to actually like close a land deal that was actually buildable. And yeah, that's
How much did you make that first deal?
I can't remember. It wasn't like something huge. It wasn't like an 18, 20,000. It was definitely under 10,000. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe like 6 or 7,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now at this time you got that first deal. What happened after that?
I mean, I was still doing houses at the same time. 'Cause I was still kind of just testing out the land.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still, getting house deals. Wasn't like getting as many house deals. Maybe 2 or 3 a month. But then like I just seen how easy it was to get these land deals. So I'm like, okay, I just need to tune it up. Figure out what's buildable, what's not, and just tune up my like pulling of the list. And once I did that and figured that out, and a couple more things tuned up, like the land deal, they kept coming in, but now we were just locking up buildable lots.
Yeah.
And I was able to close on them.
What would you say was the difference between the houses and the land?
One of the biggest differences is that you can, I think you can lock deals up easier. These people are not as attached to these properties. As with a house, if somebody might grow up in that house for their whole life and, they're attached to that property, or it might be handed down from generation to generation, so they kind of hesitant to sell that property. With land, it's like they don't usually have that type of issue. It's like they might have inherited it, but they can't live on it. They're not gonna do anything with it, so they're more willing to sell it. It's just easier to lock up deals, and then the dispo process is different, totally different. With houses, you gotta, I was doing it virtual with houses as well, and with houses, even though you're doing it virtual, you still have to get somebody to go out there and put a lockbox on the property. You still gotta have somebody to show them the houses. You gotta orchestrate, an open house if you're doing that type of thing. It's a little bit different than land where somebody just gotta drive out there and look at it.
Right. So yeah, when I was doing houses, because I did houses, I did it virtually as well in Indiana, and I was closing deals out there, but I would have to call these people up on Craigslist, send them money to put a lockbox, and trust that they actually put the lockbox, and then trust that they're not just letting squatters, live in there. So I hated that, and especially even meeting these people at the house, like face to face. I didn't even have the money at the time to buy their house, right? So that's why I love land. But so now you closing multiple deals. How many deals you close, do you think, in this space?
Well, last year, I think I closed somewhere in the 70s. I don't know the exact number. I know when I was I had counted up, it was like 60, and that was right before the fourth quarter.
Damn, you was going crazy. Hold on, let's talk about it. So what was like your biggest month in terms of deals closed?
In terms of deals closed, the amount of deals closed, I don't got that exact number. Probably I would say probably somewhere between 10 and 15.
Mm.
Yeah, 10 and 15.
So in houses, I know you said like around 2 to 3, on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So going from 2 to 3 houses
Yeah.
to 10 to 15 land,
Right.
like I'm telling y'all, that's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Seeing them wires just come in left and right, seeing the checks come in left and right. Like it's like a addicting feeling. That's why I love this land space.
Right.
So now you close about 70 deals, right?
Yeah.
You have a team.
Yeah.
What does your team look like today?
So today we got a team of, it's me, my father, and we got 5 VAs. So we're a team of 7. Got 2 marketers. I got 2 acquisitions and 2 dispos, and then me.
Are you just looking in Florida? What markets are you looking into?
Right now we're in like Southwest Florida, so Lee County, Charlotte County, Northport, and then we also in Washington State.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, have you closed deals in multiple states?
Yeah. Yeah. Like early out, I was, like I say, I started out in Nashville. I was in Nashville. All the houses, all the markets I was in for houses, I kind of jumped in them for land, and just kind of testing them out, see which one kind of like where I'm getting the most deals at.
Mm-hmm.
And I end up like focusing on the Southwest Florida, market for a long time. I've been there for about a year and a half now.
Mm.
Where we've had most of our success from.
How many deals would you say you closed in that area?
Man, out of the last year, out of the 70 something deals, I would say probably 90% of them.
Mm.
Yeah, 90% of them in that area. And then the other ones would be like, I was in Nashville, Columbus, Ohio, and then just like random places, just testing out markets.
So is that what you're doing now? Like,
no, I mean, I'm still in Southwest Florida. I did recently jump into Washington State. So we are trying to like branch out and find another market to really, focus on.
mm-hmm.
Washington State been cool right now so far. So we'll see how I keep going.
Okay, what was your biggest deal in this game?
And wholesale and land or?
In land.
My biggest deal in wholesale and land was 18,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ooh.
18,000.
Was this through text messaging or cold calling or direct mail?
Text messaging.
Text message.
Yeah.
What was that first message?
Just a basic message. Hey, are you the owner of whatever the address is?
And then
Whatever their name is, and then are you the owner of 123 Main Street?
And then they just said like, what's your offer?
We pre-qualify them. We got a couple questions we ask them. Does it have any utilities? Is the what's another pre-qualification question? My bad. I don't
Do it. I
I'm
know.
not in the marketing no more.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you have, does the property have any utilities? And now I think we got it to where it's just like, we literally ask them how much do you want for it?
Yeah.
And then if they're interested in selling and they give us a number, we push them through.
So this person, they gave you a number?
Not always. They do give us a number sometimes, but if they don't, they just be like, give me an offer.
Like for the deal for 18,000 that you got?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
There's been a lot of deals.
Yeah.
So
So you sent them a text message.
Yeah.
Did you already have the builder at this time?
No.
Okay, so did you know it was an 18K deal once you locked it up?
Yeah, because we kind of know what the numbers is. As far as the comps, we run the comps. We can see what lots is selling for. So, when we got it locked up, it was very low price, and we like, oh yeah, this gonna be a home run.
Did they have like any type of motivation, like behind on their taxes?
No, it was just an older lady.
Mm-hmm.
Older lady. We wanted to sell it. She had been holding on to it, and like she just wanted to sell it.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm asking you this, because a lot of people, when they jump into the space, they ask those questions like, why would they just sell it to you for a discount, right? But those situations happen where a lot of people, they don't want to pick up the phone and call realtors. So once we call them first, direct to seller, or we text them first, and some of them just want to sell it. So when we reach out to them being proactive, that's how we catch those deals. So yeah, so
Yeah, and I would say like with the land, like they're not like with houses, you know, they can come up with, they can kind of figure out a number or talk to a realtor and they come up with numbers. But like with land, a lot of people don't know what they land worth. So it's easy to come by those, you know, larger spread deals in some or certain markets for sure.
yeah. Have you done anything like in the West Coast, like Arizona, California?
No,
Okay, not yet.
yeah, not
Yeah,
yet, nah.
you got to touch it because one, like Arizona, I made, you know, when I was going on the Brent Daniels podcast, I'm like, you know what, let me try it out.
Yeah,
Tried it out, made a couple thousand over there, you
yeah,
know, just, and not spending that much money
right.
because it felt like nobody was doing it. So, yeah, definitely.
I know it's a lot of untouched markets like with that land because it's a blue ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wholesaling houses, so it's like you can go anywhere in the United States, which is why we kind of branching out, you know, from the Southwest Florida only.
Okay. So, what would you tell, you know, like your 17-year-old self, like in terms of like motivation? Because I know at this time you thinking MBA overseas, making professional money. So now that you are where you are now, business owner, 7 employees, you know, what would you tell your 17-year-old self?
Um, I would tell my 17-year-old self to get in wholesaling land. Shit, I tell them at 17, you need to start wholesaling land right now. You know, I could have been doing that in high school. I could have been doing it in college, overseas, and just maybe if I would have started doing that while I was overseas, I probably would still be playing overseas because you know, I'd be making money at the same time,
Right.
making more money. You know.
Yeah, you could do both. That's what's crazy. And with land, I feel like it's the easiest entry into real estate. Like we literally, to me, the foundation, land is the foundation. We are the foundation of real estate because this game is a lot more simple and easier to me than houses, you know, than being a realtor. You know, like you said, you was just driving, checking out houses, you know, just holding people's hand and then they don't want to buy. So the land is the easiest entry into real estate. I need y'all to know that. But, you know, so when you're going through setbacks, you know, how do you stay positive within those setbacks or those droughts, those down periods?
Right. Um, One thing I like to do is just always keep my eye focused on the goal, the end goal. To know, you know, I already expect, you know, droughts. I already expect failures. You know, you gotta already expect that, and just know that, you know, you don't take failure as a negative. You take every failure as a positive and learn from it. You know, learn from what you went through and, you know, make it better the next time.
Okay. In terms of hiring, right? What do you look for when you're hiring, you know, your people?
Well, very very big thing that I look for when I'm hiring, you know, especially VAs, is our core values. You know, our company core values for us is, you know, it's been a game changer just hiring that way. When it comes to like turnover rate with VAs, you know, I've had a couple of VAs who work with me now for over a year now, and it's because we hire off of our core values. Like our core values is we call it tall C: teamwork, accountability, leadership, loyalty, and communication. And you know, when I'm hiring, I'm asking questions to basically see if they fit them core values. It's a part of the process. And if they, you know, in order for them to even be a part of our team, like they have to have them core values. If they don't got them core values, I don't care how good you is, how good your resume is, you can't be a part of that.
What was the core values that you use again?
Teamwork, accountability, leadership, loyalty, and communication.
Okay, so how do you know if, you know, they're accountable or, you know, if they're a leader
Right.
or if they communicate?
Right. So we got in our hiring process, we got 3 stages. So the first stage is really just like we you know, regular application, basic information. and then they do like a script, whatever position we hiring for. So if it's a marketer, they had a cold call marketing script, and basically that first round we just listening to their accent. All good English, like. So, like I say, resume, none of that really matter. As long as you got a good accent, you're going to get through that first round.
So that first round, you tell them to record a script so you can hear how they speak, basically on the phone.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And we also ask them, we got so we ask them, they got to answer maybe like 5 questions, where you see yourself in 5 years. And, like simple questions like, they might think it's just normal questions, but it's a philosophy behind each question. For example, if I got somebody who comes with me and they answer that question, where you see yourself in 5 years, and they say, well, yeah, I wanna be an air pilot, or I wanna own my own business and this and that. That's red flag for me. Like I need longevity, So I'm looking for the answer that's like, hey. In 5 years, I want to be, in a leadership role, a managerial role in your company and leading other VAs. So I'm looking for things like that. So like each phase of the interview process, that's step 1. We listen for those things, listen for the accent. Step 2 is more where we listen. They do another recording and we listen, like the questions that we ask mimic our core values. So it's like for certain scenarios, like if you was working with a company and one of the employees got fired and then he tried to recruit you to come work with the other company, you down talking to the boss, like what would you do? Just trying to hear how they respond to those questions, that match our core values. So I can kind of get a good grasp of like, okay, what type of person is this person?
Yeah,
match our core values.
That's dope. You want to see who they are,
right?
Based off of their answers,
right? So that second round is literally for the core values. If they get past that, they match them first two rounds, then we push them through for a Skype interview, like a face-to-face Skype interview. And then from there we hire if we like them.
So in the Skype interview, from the people that you hire, what made them stand out?
It just depends, like what position we trying to hire. Each position is different. For acquisition, we want somebody who is, can talk, can be friendly, can make a friend, who got natural talking abilities, with a tons of confidence, not gonna get down by 100, no's, or they know how to get over rebuttals. We look for different things for different positions.
Yeah, definitely for the acquisitions, they have to be able to handle the no's. If they can't handle rejection, let them go. Because within this game, you get a lot of no's, but every no leads to the yes. So I like that. So you said what step 3 was?
Step 3 is just an interview.
And then the interview. Got you. So I know you're big on books, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We got a book club. I just started a book club.
Okay, that's dope. What are y'all reading now?
So right now we reading The Richest Man in Babylon.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty good book.
Any takes you got from that book? Like any?
Yeah, my biggest take is it's a real simple book. Honestly, it's a real simple book, but it's things that it's not taught to us, that kind of the wealthy kind of live by, and real simple adjustments in your life that can take you a long way. Like everything that come in, you put away, put 10% of it away, and the 10% that you put away, don't just put it away, but put it to work, make it work for you. And things like that. I really like that book.
Yeah, I like that. I took that from that too. He says like put away 10%, right? Because compound interest, you put that into something over the years, it's gonna grow and grow and grow. So by the time when we old men, right, that investment that we did now, 20 years later, is gonna skyrocket. Like if our parents would have bought Apple, Microsoft, when it first started, when we was in dial-up. Because I remember dial-up. I'm not sure if you remember dial-up. Right? If they would have invested into those stocks, right, then we would all be millionaires. So we got to be the ones to do it now. We got the ones to invest our money that we get from these wholesaling land, because this game, we do get big checks. Like, shit, we got a deal yesterday for 25, right? Why not put that into an investment instead of tricking off on buying liability? So that's dope, bro. So what would you say is your top 3 books?
Top 3 books. One of them is
And why?
One of them is definitely One Thing by Gary Keller.
That's the yellow page.
It's mine was a white. It's like a white and black.
Okay, yeah.
White and black book. But One Thing by Gary Keller, definitely one of my favorite books. It just talks about focusing on one thing. You know, because as entrepreneurs, we all over the place. We like every little shiny thing. But I feel like when I read that book, you know, I was in that space of just being all over the place, and that book helped me really focus on one thing, because we become, what's the saying, like, be good at everything, but
So like the jack of all trades.
Master of none.
Yeah, he's a master of none because he's focusing on so many different things.
Exactly. So that really honed me onto one thing when I really just focus on real estate. Every time something came to me, hey bro, you should do it. I'm like, nah bro, I'm good. I'm just doing this real estate right now. And that's when I really found my success in real estate.
Just by locking in. So the One Thing, what's the other 2?
Another book, I would say, what's another book? Traction. Traction is a really good book that I like, that I enjoyed. I learned a lot from as far as being a business owner. So if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you got a business, you still hustling, you want to take it to that, that business owner level, Traction, definitely the book. Like, a lot of stuff that I do now, core values and, just hiring off core values and all that stuff come from Traction. I know a lot of business owners use it, Fortune 500 companies use it. But yeah, it's a pretty powerful book for sure.
Okay.
And let's see, another good book. I might maybe have to go on my book list. Another good book that I like.
That impacted you that time when you was hustling.
I like Richest Man of Babylon, but I know we already talked about that one. That would be probably my 3rd book for sure.
You ever read Think and Grow Rich?
I actually never read that book. I never read that book. Shockingly, I know everybody read it. Everybody talk about it. I never read that book.
Nah, definitely read that, and don't just read it once. That's a book we need to study. Because I think implementing certain things, like I always talk about chapter 2, right? Desires. How he said, this king, he rallied his troops, went into the opponent's land, jumped off the ships, and he burnt every single ship, right? So it's like we have to win or we're going to die. I feel like as entrepreneurs, when we put ourselves in that mindset, like we definitely gonna figure it out because there's no plan B. I feel like once you have that plan B, it's literally a distraction from where you're going, that plan A. You're looking to the back. You know how they say when you run in a race, when you look to the side of you, that's when you lose, right? You gotta lock in. So I feel like that's what I learned from that. Chapter 2, definitely fired. And all the other stuff, he gives so much game. Like I literally took one exercise, right? When he was talking about write down your goals or exactly what you want, right? Write it down in like increments. So like first quarter, how much you would make. Second quarter, how much you're gonna make. Right. Same thing for 3rd and 4th, right? And then talk about or write what you're willing to sacrifice for this. Right. Once you write down what you're willing to sacrifice, now you give yourself an exact date of when you want that money or that manifestation. And literally, I did that, wrote it down, put it in my wallet. And that same year, I made more money than what I even wrote down. And at this time, when I was writing it down, I was writing it down like, damn, I'm scared to even put this number because I couldn't even picture myself making that much money, right? But doing those little exercises, not just reading the books, but actually implementing what they write in.
Right.
Game changer.
You gotta check it out, man, for sure.
Yeah. So
I got another book for you, though. I just thought one.
Talk to me.
How to win friends, how to make friends and influence people.
No, it's How to Win Friends. You had it right the first one.
Win friends and
Influence people.
Yeah, that book was tough.
What two tips you could give the viewers based off of that book?
Based off of that book, just putting yourself in other people's shoes, thinking from their perspective, that's how you can definitely win over people. And see another tip from that book.
I got one for you. He said, always remember people's names. Try your hardest to remember people's names, because people take their name as the most sacred words or, in the world. So if you remember somebody's name, they will cherish you forever.
Make them feel special.
Make them feel special, because that's all you have to do, to influence and win friends, win people.
Things.
Yep. I actually was reading that book when I came out to Florida. Yeah, because honestly, I'm literally to me, I'm more laid back, shy. I like doing my own thing. Right. Being the only child, we're isolated a lot. So reading that book, it forced me to get out of that comfort zone, put myself in those surroundings, listen. That's one thing that book teaches you a lot. When you actually listen to somebody and let them get their story out, they will appreciate you forever. Right. Even doing these podcasts, every time after the podcast, the guests that I have up here, they're super excited. Like, I want to come back because everybody wants to get their story out. Right. So that's how you win friends and influence people. So that book was
a dope book for sure.
Yeah.
Top 3 book.
Yes, sir. So what advice would you give somebody that's looking into wholesaling land? They just seen this podcast, they inspired. What advice can you give them?
The advice I would give them is definitely start wholesaling land. Like, lock in, get them a mentor, get somebody who will prevent them from making them mistakes early off, somebody who's already been through them mistakes, somebody who can teach them and save them a whole bunch of time to really, get started. And get started.
Okay.
Really tell them.
What about that guy that's overseas, right? He's been playing ball for 6 years. He got a little saved up, but he's like, yo, Gabe, Eli, I need to figure something out.
All right.
What would you tell him?
If you playing ball overseas, I know you got a lot of off time where you ain't practicing or working out. You sitting in your room or whatever. You can be learning a skill, man. You can be learning a skill. Wholesaling land is a perfect skill to learn, where you can do it virtually while you're on the other side of the world, and you can be making more money than you making playing basketball to help supplement that, that income that you making. When you get home, when you got to work out at home and you ain't got no income coming in, wholesaling land can be that perfect supplement.
That's dope. That's dope. So, you guys, where can the viewers follow you at?
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna keep it real estate with you. I am a keep it real estate with you. No, my bad.
Nah, you good.
I'm gonna keep it real estate. You can follow me on IG at I'm gonna keep it real estate. I am a keep it real estate, and yeah.
What about Facebook?
You can follow me on Facebook. Just my name, Gabe Moten. That's usually for like family and friends.
Oh, okay.
Not too many people on Facebook.
Got you.
Yeah.
This was dope, bro. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me, bro.
Yes, sir.